Ever had one of those moments where something just doesn't add up? You double check, triple check, and somehow you still get burned? Yep, it happened. But first, let's get these Ranger parts looking good. So first of all, I could have used my sandblaster, which I did on some of these bigger parts. But I didn't have, well, I had to go to work again. I didn't have some of this stuff really ready with some of the other parts removed. And I had already put the sandblaster away, and then today, well, the last couple days it's been like rainy and wet, and that makes just a mess. So that's why I was using the wire wheel to clean up what I could. And I've got, I think, everything done. You can see there is a couple small spots where I have to get down in some of those tiny little grooves and areas. And I bought some of the Dremel, and that one, I thought those would actually work really good. That's this other style. And they did not work that great. I mean, it was okay for a second, but lasted maybe 2 minutes at the most, if at best. And these ones that are set up more like a wheel, like the other wire wheels, those worked really good. Like it, where did I put it? Oh, it's still on here. And so that lasted probably 5+ minutes anyway. I'm not going to get some of those really small and tiny areas because I can't get in there enough. And like I said, if I had the sandblaster, piece cake. So I'm going to get all this ready. Probably, well, hopefully in the next day or two, and get all the powder, figure out what colors I got and what ones I want to do. What's the best for cleaning for powder coating? I personally use a couple different things like mineral spirits and different stuff, and I have not had a problem with any of them yet. I am not a powder coat professional, but I haven't had any problems with mine holding up so far with shit on a few motorcycle parts, dirt bike parts, trucks. So we will go ahead and get what we can done, and hopefully get those ready and prepped and then thrown in the oven. And then I can start putting the Ranger back together, I believe. I got to get the gasket. The gasket set comes in tomorrow, I believe. But then we can get everything thrown back on it and installed. All right, so I was going to show you what I'm doing, trying to get these parts ready for powder coat and taping the things off. I got some silicone plugs and all these little hooks, and I'll kind of show you that. There's all the little hooks, and then on the other side I have all the little silicone plugs, which you'll see. I'll get a picture or a little short video of that before I throw them in the oven and everything, and during the process of the powder coating itself. But I've got these, some of these I won't have to do much with. I've taped this one. You can get the fiberglass high temp tape. They call it, it's under different names, but you can get it at powder coat stores, Granger, even Amazon has a little bit, or I think I've ordered it from one other site, I can't remember. It is not cheap, but that high temp, you know, like I said, you're allowed to cover all the spots. And you know, some of these I could cover with the tape too, but I have the plugs for all these, the silicone plugs, so I won't need to do it for that. These little elbows, I'm not going to do anything with. I don't care if they're powder coated. You can, if you ever, you know, like I said, want to put more character or certain things you just don't want to powder coat. You can also wipe the powder off if you're really careful before you throw it in the oven. But I've got to go through, and what I've done so far, I'll show you, is I've cut out all these sections, and I've got to do this one next. And I've got some 3/4 inch and 2-inch tape is what I use the most of, but like I said, it is expensive. I got these little pieces that I keep, not all of them, those are scrappers, but I keep some of them for different areas in case I need it so I don't waste them. These valve covers, I don't know, I've never done the inside. I don't know how it would hold up. I might try it because they get hot, but they don't get that hot, so I might try that. But these will all be painted on the entire surface, these little plastic things. I'm gonna try to get them out. They'll probably break. That one's already broke. If they don't work, I don't care. I'll either zip tie my stuff to it, or I may just leave it on and see if it'll hold up anyway. But some of these, I don't know how this is gonna work out for that one, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and we'll see. Some of these other small fittings, the fuel rail stuff. And like I said, all I'll have to do is shove the plugs in. I will protect some of these on the inside, maybe tape this sitting there with that nut so it doesn't mess up that fairing and everything. And then I got my little powder coat system from Eastwood. I've used some of their colors. I also have other colors that I've got from other powder coat supply warehouses off the internet, and I'll maybe show you some of those. And then I just use my little heat gun to check my temperatures. I got that off Amazon.
Why is everything so problematic? Why are you acting so neglected?
There's the silicone plugs. You can get those at a lot of supply warehouses. Amazon, I think, is where I got most of mine. This is like 33, 34 years old. But anyway, this one I think I got a clean inside right there, you can see. This one I'm just gonna leave. I don't know, I'm trying to decide if I should leave this and just do a clear coat and color this one. I think I have a few little parts like I shown you before that the little distributor, I'm just gonna put a clear coat, rattle can that, and a few things. I already painted the harmonic balancer, which I had showed I think in the last video. And so I think aside from that, that's pretty much everything. Next, I'll have everything hung up. I'll show you some of that. Powder coat it. Well, I've got to get it clean. Then I'll hang it up, powder coat it, and then we'll get it in the oven, and we'll show you the final product or the results and how it turns out. And then I think that'll wrap that portion of it up. I don't know if I'll have time to install or do anything, but if not, we'll at least get the powder coating in this video. Most of this has been, like I said, wire brushed and or sandblasted. So I had this heavy duty citrus degreaser. I'm gonna try it. We'll see how it works. But I've got everything cleaned up, so I'm not too worried about it because shit, it's pretty much spotless to begin with. Well, not spotless, but it's very clean. Except for some of the small nooks and crannies and stuff I'll show you on some of the parts. And I have a few different tools I try to use. The sandblaster works the best, but I only had it out the one day when it wasn't all wet and everything out on the ground. But I'll show you. So this one, I'm just getting ready to hurry and throw the plugs in it. But I got a bunch of these little hooks from the bungee cords I've had over the years, and that's what I use. I got some other small wiring, and I'll show you. This stuff comes in a roll. You just cut pieces and bend them. I got some smaller little S hooks that get some of that just from your local hardware store or whatever. But I've even used copper wire, which actually works quite well up until it gets really hot. The weather's been cold and crazy. Today it finally warmed up a little bit. Tomorrow's supposed to be decent, but with my limited time with work and everything else, it's not easy. And it's a lot harder than I ever thought it would be.
In the corner of the crowded room, your eyes meet mine. Conversations fill the air, lost in space and time. I don't ask for your name, it's already carved in the air. I won't light a flame, it's already burning when you are near. Taking steps to keep my distance, I don't wanna fall. Am I strong enough to guide my heart away from it all? I won't call your name, it's already carved in the air. I won't light the flame, it's already burning when you are near. Do we all so slowly lose control as emotions overflow, falling into the unknown? Or do we all guard our small fragile hearts as we're softly breaking apart, afraid to give in to the stars and open up our hearts? Do we all so slowly lose control as emotions overflow, falling into the unknown? Or do we all
the aluminum parts and that chrome smoke color, I didn't really love how they turned out. Plus some of the spots where you couldn't clean it as much, or I didn't take as much time on some things. But a lot of the other ones look really good. There's a few spots here and there with different things. But for the most part, I'm happy enough. Like I said, it's a 91 Ford Ranger. If it was something a little more, I don't know, newer or something I wanted to put a little more time into, I definitely would. But I think it turned out pretty good overall. As you can see, I got all the powder gun cleaned out, everything put away. Oh, I had some problems with that blue color too. It started to clump up in spots, not huge. And I tried breaking it up and getting it, because when that powder comes, it's a really fine powder. So I tried to break it up and stir it up and everything, and I couldn't get it quite as good as I wanted, but it still worked out. I only had one real problem, and I will tell you what that is right now. Here it is. I don't know if you see the problem here. It was supposed to be a different color blue. As you can tell, it's more like black. The problem was I had my gun out for the temperature, and I did not check what setting it was on. I don't know if my boys have played with it last. I don't know. I've always had it on Fahrenheit, but it wasn't. So when I was reading it, it was reading like I don't know, in the 190s, a little over 200. It was Celsius. And so, anyway, they were way hot and cooked way too much. So, they pretty much, I guess you could call it burnt. They're black. And you can even see, you can just tell from what they were, that color, like I said, they got way too hot. But that was my own fault. I should have checked that, and I didn't, just because I guess I'm in the habit of I don't mess with it. But I did find my old ones. These were off that other motor. Those are not powder coated, but they were just painted. So I might just clean those up and use those, only because I'm not sure. I don't know. They kind of look cool. They're almost black. But I screwed that up. So anyway, the rest of them turned out good. They'll work. Now I just need to get everything started and put back together on it, and we'll see where we're at. Every build, every project, there's always something that can test you. A bad reading, wrong measurement, a moment where you start second-guessing yourself. But that's the thing about getting things done. You just never quit. You don't back down, you figure it out and keep moving. In the end, you have two choices. You can be the one who charges forward, takes the hit, and comes out stronger, or the one who hesitates, runs, and lets the storm catch him. That's the difference between charging forward or being left behind. Thank you so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and until the next time, God bless.